Hi guys, this is Dormouse03. Welcome to my walkthrough for Dishonored 2. We are going to be going through this game and picking up all three of the achievements or trophies: Shadow, Clean Hands, and Flesh and Steel. So the first thing that we want to do is start up a new game. I'm going to play through this on easy because there is no requirement to do otherwise. If you want an extra challenge, you can play it on a higher difficulty, but I will tell you, combining all three of these together is a challenge in and of itself, because being restricted to not using powers makes this way more challenging to get through stealthily. So I will say that. I'll also say it doesn't matter which character you choose to play as. I'm playing as Emily, but you're really not going to see any difference except for the story. I prefer the Emily story just a little bit, and so that's why I chose to go back through as her. But you can play as Corvo. It doesn't matter because we're not going to have any abilities. So the first thing you have to do is come over and talk to this lady. And this first level is not too bad. It's going to be the same for everybody because no one has powers on this level. And so that is going to be the same whether you're doing this with your abilities or without. I'll go ahead and say this at the start too. If you're having trouble with this, there is no requirement to do all three of these things at once. You can do them all in separate runs and it will probably be easier on you. I just recorded this because I think a lot of people do like this challenge of doing all three at once, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it in the first game and I enjoyed it in this game, but I know that some people are put off by the fact that you don't have access to blink or far reach at the beginning, and so you really have no powers here. Whereas in the first game, you did have access to the standard blink. And so some people don't like that, don't like playing through with no powers at all. Having blink or far reach makes this so much easier to get through without getting spotted, and faster. You'll play through the levels faster. It's fun. So if you don't like stealthing through without the abilities, then I would say don't, and do your no abilities run when you are going on your high chaos and killing everything. Might be a better time for you. But if you enjoy this challenge like I did, you can combine all three, as I'll be showing you through this guide. So I'm looting some things here at the beginning. You'll notice I knocked out that one guard. We will be knocking out people, and I will be getting a couple of upgrades to the crossbow because there are a couple of spots throughout the game where I need to use a couple of sleep darts on some people, and that is why I will be collecting a little bit of money here toward the beginning of the game, the first few chapters. And once I have those upgrades, getting cash is not very important because there's nothing to buy. So we're going to head downstairs and we're going to knock out the second guard that is patrolling down here. Using the lean mechanic is really, really helpful. So just being able to peek out and see whether somebody is in a good position to be able to kill them. That also is a problem. Sometimes you will think that you have the prompt to knock someone out, and you don't quite have it, and you'll just do a little block move, which is irritating. Luckily, that doesn't really make much sound. You saw he didn't turn around even when I did that, so usually that's okay. It's just frustrating if you don't have a lot of time before somebody turns around or notices you, and you do that instead of knocking them out. Can be a little bit irritating, but usually the prompt system works pretty well. I don't have very many complaints about the mechanics on the game, But that is one little sometimes frustration. And so we are now going to be going up to this door. You have to open the door in order to trigger the next part of the mission. I was thinking you could just look through it, but I think you have to open it. I closed it back. I don't think you have to do that, but I did just to make sure, because sometimes when the AI on this game sees open doors, they're like, oh my god, who opened this door? What's going on? So I try to close doors behind me if I'm going to be lingering in an area, because that will put the guards on alert. It won't count as being spotted, because you're not spotted until you're spotted, but it does put the AI on alert and make them have a little bit different pattern than they might otherwise have. So like I said, I don't know that it matters in this particular case, but I think getting into a habit of doing that is a good idea. So we're going to wait here for this guy to come walking through, and then we're going to knock him out. You saw that he had a little bit of an alert there, and I'm not sure what that was about, whether he could see me a little bit where I was behind cover, or whether he noticed that the guard that is normally there, it wasn't there. But it's okay for them to have a little bit of that lightning bolt, as long as it doesn't go completely red. You are going to be okay. So that's just something to keep in mind as we go through here. It can fill up with white. It can start to fill up with red. As long as it doesn't go completely red and indicate that they are alerted, then you're okay. I just decided to go close that door for whatever reason, just make it nice and clean. And then we're going to lock this guy in this safe room. And that is your first way of dealing with the taking out of people in a non-lethal fashion. So you have to put him down on the ground and then go back and shut this door, and that eliminates him without killing him. So that's your first progression toward the Clean Hands achievement or trophy. And we have a couple of other things to pick up in here before we move on. We're going to be getting our pistol, even though we're never going to use this. The little scope is kind of interesting. It helps in a couple of places just to zoom in. Yes, let's pick up bullets that we're not going to use. That's intelligent, Dormouse. And there's one of the collectibles. I'm not going to be showing you how to get all the collectibles in this, because it's not possible. I won't say that, because you can get the helmet for knocking out the elite soldier, and you can, I think, get the clockwork soldier head as well without killing someone. I think you might be able to get them on this run, but it's not worth it. You're gonna have to go out of your way to get a few of them, and you're not gonna want to go out of your way. Not on this run. So sorry guys, I'll be picking up a couple of the collectibles just because they're on the way, like this painting that's going to be right in front of us, because that's some extra coinage, but we're not going to be getting all of those things. Save that for another less frustrating run. And so now we are just trying to get to the docks, and I have a really good path to get out of here. I think it's pretty fun, and I want to give a shout out and a thank you to my friend Iron Praetorian for telling me about this, because I had a different path picked out, but he said he told me that when he was playing through, he took the train out of here, and I was like, that sounds amazing. I'm totally gonna see if I can do that and put that in the guide. So that's what we're gonna be doing. But first we have to take care of this guy. You can probably drop down once he turns around and then just walk along behind him, but, you know, knocking him out is fun too. So, the little drop attacks work pretty well for the most part. I won't be doing many of those throughout this playthrough, but just so that you know, when you fall on top of someone, you can hit RB to, or R1, I guess, to knock them out as you fall. And so right now we're just going to be waiting on these guys to finish talking and the one that patrols back here to turn around before we head over to the right. And we're going to be getting up on top of the train tracks and taking the train. So he's turned around and we're going to move over here. Getting up on top of this little, I don't know what it is, piece of geometry is a little tricky. So I ended up having to stand up to jump because you jump a little bit higher when you're standing. And Emily just did not want to get on top of the thing, but you should be okay for a minute. There we go. We had to back a little bit away from it. Sometimes you get hit, you hit some invisible corners and it makes platforming a little bit tricky. I think it's just the first person view is a little bit finicky, but if you come over here, you can jump right on top of this train. You're going to have to, I don't think you have to crouch. I don't think anybody can see you up here, but you're going to need to be aware of this thing right here. You're going to want to jump onto it and run across and then jump back onto the train. And you should be able to make that work. And then you just want to get off. Probably a little bit sooner than I did because I thought I was going to get fried by the electricity, but luck was in my corner in that moment. And then you can just jump off into the water and swim over to the exit. And that is this level done. I think the train is a great way to skip the majority of the level there. You're in no danger of getting seen. The only tricky thing is trying to jump over that section where you could get knocked off and get back onto the train quickly enough. But if you need to reload a couple of times, that's okay. Just make a save right when you get onto the train and then reload that if you're having trouble. But that is the end of this level, guys. Not too bad. And we're going to check our statistics here. And all you want to do is make sure that you get a check for the non-lethal merciful right there. And another check for the ghost. And you should be right on your way. So I will see you in mission 2. Hope that this was helpful. And I'll see you in the next one.